Hi, my name's Jenae and we're at the chapel at the scout camp at Mount Kira in Wollongong escarpment. Well, this morning it's pretty spectacular. There's no wind, it's beautiful sunshine, and we're standing in the middle of the forest under a massive fig tree, listening to the birds above us, so you might hear a few of those in the background. It's beautiful.
And what lures you into the forest?
I think it's the peace and quiet. It really clears your head. You're only in the moment, that whole mindfulness of just aware of the crackling the leaves under your feet, the leaves in the trees rustling, the birds, and just being in the moment. So everything else that happened at home, work, anything, it's just left behind.
And I notice you've got a camera around your neck. You're into photography?
Yeah, I love photography. Very much an amateur photography, so I jump between my SLR camera and just even my Samsung, depending on the moment, and just make sure I've got it handy in case something comes across my path and I can jump on it and take a photo.
And when you're walking through the forest, what kind of things are you looking for to photograph? Are you looking for big landscapes or details as well?
I do a mixture. I certainly keep an eye out, especially around the bottom of trees and on the paths, for mushrooms. There's some really spectacular mushrooms around the Illawarra region, lots of beautiful colours that probably people aren't aware of. And I'm definitely into landscapes as well, so I really keep an eye out for the vistas of the trees and the treetops especially. I think that's pretty interesting. And also any animals I happen to come across, especially birds.
And as you walk through the forest with the mind of a photographer, does that help you to be even more focused on the environment around you?
Definitely, I think, because I take a few people walking with me from time to time, and everyone's agenda, I think, is different when you walk through the rainforest or the scrub on top of the escarpment. And I think having that camera around your neck, you certainly stop to have a look at different details along the way, whereas some people are just more focused on the exercise, I suppose, of getting through the forest and making it to the lookout, where I'm more focused on what I find along the way, to be honest.
So it's a kind of a strolling bushwalk.
It is. Sometimes it can be more for fitness, like Sublime Point. That's pretty strenuous, but most of my walks I really focus on what I'm going to find on the way, whether that's a waterfall or luscious rainforest, whatever it might be.
And can you be an adventurous walker as well? Do you like to go off the path, or do you pretty much stick to the path?
I definitely go off the path. That's probably my favourite bit. I mean, there's some beautiful national parks walks, but there's also a lot of walks across the escarpment that are a bit off the beaten track, and there's definitely some climbing around on rocks and scrambling and getting your bum dirty. It's great. That's the best bit.
Tell us some of your favourite photographs that you've captured, and either of animals or interesting flora and fauna.
I do take a lot of photos. My friends will tell you that when they've been walking with me, but definitely my favourites have been some of the mushrooms I've captured around the Illawarra. Spectacular colours, bright red, purples, bright blue. They're pretty unusual, I think. And definitely some of the different lookouts I've been to. I think people are most familiar with the obvious Mount Kira's Sublime Point, but there's a lot of other different places around that people don't even know exist, I don't think. So it's for me, I love going places where not many people go and capturing moments that people wouldn't ordinarily see.
Yes, we've been putting some of your mushroom pictures on our 97.3 FM Facebook page, and fungi experts are jumping on there to try and be the first one to identify them. So there's definitely a fan club of mushroom lovers out there.
Yeah, I had no idea. It wasn't until I started putting them on my Facebook page and my Instagram page that people were really jumping on top of them with these fancy botanical names. Like, wow, okay, there's a whole following of people that love mushrooms out there.
One of your photos was recently an ABC Open Pick of the Week choice of the tawny frogmouth in your front garden, I think. Can you tell us a little bit about how you captured that moment?
I live right next to some reserves in Mangaton, so I'm really fortunate to be surrounded by spotted gums, which are actually protected. So I believe it's quite a breeding ground for the tawny frogmouth. So they've been hanging around our backyard for quite a number of years now, and I came home from work one afternoon and I was surprised to see a third. So they'd obviously been breeding over in the bush, and it was lovely to see them all lined up, and amazing creatures just in the afternoon about 5:30, and really attuned to people around them, but at the same time really tame, and were quite happy just to have their photo taken.
Now, with the photographs that you take on your bushwalks, How do you use those photos? What do you do with them?
Firstly, I started off just blasting my personal Facebook page with them because I always thought they were pretty special. I don't think a lot of people realised what was up here. So I was posting them and I thought, well, look, geez, I think I'm probably spamming my friends with photos of mushrooms and birds. They may not be interested. So I started my own Facebook page, Bushwalk the Gong, and just invited anyone that was interested to come over and have a look. And that's since expanded to a reasonable following and also expanded onto my Instagram page. But initially it was just for family and friends, just to go, hey, look, this is what I found today.
You managed to combine digital creativity with your camera and a social media presence with being active. Is that something that you would encourage other people to get into?
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's probably the attraction from a lot of my followers is the fact that it's not just running up hills and sport. I am keeping active, I am keeping fit, but at the same time, I'm pursuing a hobby that I like, which is photography. And I think in this day and age, obviously most people are into social media. So incorporating that in as well, it's been really great for me. And I think the feedback from social media of having those people sitting at home and in the Wollongong area and not realising what's on their escarpment has been really encouraging.
Thanks very much for talking to us today.
Lovely. Thank you, Sean.